Okay, here's one last video, and this time I have a fairly ugly looking equation up here. It's 2n plus 7 plus n minus 2 equals 7n minus 7 minus 2n. Now, at first, this may seem kind of scary because we have 7 terms, but really all the rules are the same. We want to get down to 2 terms, n on one side of the equal sign and its value on the other side. We are going to use the same values with opposite operations, and whatever we do on the left, anything new that we do on the left, we're also going to do to the right. Okay, so let's model this first. So I've got 2n here, and I've got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I've got n, and I've got minus 2. So those are my 4 terms on the left side. On the right side, I have a 7n, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 coming up. We're subtracting 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're subtracting 2n. There we go. Okay, there's not even enough room for me to write. So our first step here is we have like terms on either side of the equal sign. So if we take a look on the left side, I've got 2 terms that are n terms. And we can see the blocks right there. So we can put those terms together by doing this. And that's equivalent to us adding it. So when we add those together, we end up getting 3n, right? 1, 2, 3. So 2n, and then plus n over here, that's 3n. Okay? Let me just, I overdid it. I need to go back and write this in. So 3n. Now I also have 2 numerical terms. I've got positive 7 plus 7 and minus 2. And they are represented with my tiles down here as well. But look what happens when I put them together. I'm going to put them together. I get a couple of 0 pairs. And I end up with positive 5, which makes sense because positive 7 minus 2 is 5. So I've got n, 3n plus 5 on this side. So all we've done is simplify by gathering like terms, and already it looks a lot friendlier. So let's go to the other side. We have 3 terms, and 2 of them are n terms. So I can take my negative n. As soon as I put that pen away, I can take my negative n and make 0 pairs with my n. And what do I have is I have 5n, which makes sense because 7n minus 2n is what I have in that first line is 5n. And then I subtract 7. And from here on in, it's just the same as the other equations that we've seen. Okay, so I am going to want to have, again, now I'm looking here and I have more, my n term on my right, 5n, is greater than my n term on my left. So it's going to be easier for me to subtract 3n from both sides. So that's what I'll do. I will take out my blue marker and I will subtract 3n here, and I'll subtract 3n here. Now, subtracting 3n from my left side looks just like this. So 3n minus 3n is 0, so those are gone, but I still have my 5. So on my left side, I still have 5. And what does that equal to on my right? Well, I just subtracted 3n from my left, so I need to subtract 3n from my right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I've got 2n left. But I also have minus 7. So right now my equation stands at 5 equals 2n minus 7. Now I like my n's where they are on the right, so I am going to get rid of the negative 7 on my left. Sorry, I like my n's on the right, so I want my numbers on the left, so I'm going to get rid of the negative 7 on the right by adding 7 to each side. Okay, now on the right, it's pretty important that I get my 7 1's here, my 7 positive, because that allows me to make 0 pairs. But before I do anything with those, I'm going to add my 7 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Now I can make my 0 pairs, and this is showing me that the minus 7 plus 7 after the 2n actually do cancel each other out. There we go. And of course on this side, 5 plus 7 equals 12. So I'm just going to move these sort of out of the way here. Good. And I'm going to end up with 12 on my left equals 2n on my right. And of course now I need to use the same value with the opposite operation. So divide by 2 to isolate my n, and I'm going to do that on both sides. Okay? So dividing my 2n and 2 looks sort of like that, and over here I'm going to move this up, get this to join it, so that's 6 there, 6 here, and I can see that 1n is equal to 6. So if you take a look at where we started with 7 terms, 4 on the left and 3 on the right. We are now down to 2 terms, 6 equals n. And if our check goes well, then that'll make me happy. So 2n plus 7 plus n plus minus 2. Now I can substitute 6 in for both my n, or I can gather like terms first. It really doesn't matter. I should get the same answer. So I'm going to go and just do it this way. So 2 times 6 plus 7 plus 6 minus 2. 2 times 6 is 12 plus 7 plus 6 minus 2. 12 plus 7 is 19, plus 6 is 25, minus 2, and that gives me 23. So I'm looking for 23 on my right side. So 7n minus 7 minus 2n. Here we go. 7, and I'm going to substitute 6 in there, minus 6 minus 2 times 6. 7 times 6 is 42. We're going to subtract 7, and we're going to subtract 12. 42 minus 7 is 35, minus 12. 35 minus 12 is 23. My left side equals my right side, so I know that n equals 6, and my solution is complete.